Hi, if you watch my videos all the time, then you know that I usually make a whole bunch in one day. And so that's why you see the continuous same outfit. Tank top, it's pretty warm here in Washington right now. So um, I haven't made any videos lately because my schedule has been so hectic. And it's just all of a sudden, it's like the dam broke open and I've just got this flood of activity in my life, which is really unusual for me. Except that I live with my daughter and my grandson, and that's been, pretty busy. But lately I've had to say no, that I can't watch him because I have too much to do. And I'm very planned and I'm very scheduled, and you can ask my kids because it drives them bonkers because I have to do this and I have to do that. And I have to do some things at a certain time, like when I go to bed, I have to go to bed a certain way and have a certain pattern because it helps me to go to sleep. Well, what happens when that dam breaks open, it's because something new is coming. It's like you're on this river, and everybody always talks about, making it around the bend of the river, and they feel like they're paddling upstream. And there's always these analogies about rivers, and it's because it kind of feels like that. Like you're stuck behind a dam, and then suddenly the dam bursts open, and all this water is flushing forward, and it's you and your life, and suddenly it's all hectic, and everything's all over the place, and there's no schedule. And for some people, that does drive them nuts. However, sometimes that is supposed to be so that we can learn to adapt to things and get to a better place. And we have a tendency as humans to get into ruts. We get used to certain schedules, or we get used to certain jobs, or we get used to doing things a certain way, and then we do it for so long that it's not just a habit, it becomes a way of life. Well, sometimes in order for us to grow and to become more, we have to allow the dam to break and for things to get a little hectic so that we can learn to adapt to those things, so that we can grow and we can change. And it's honestly one of the hardest things to do in life is to change. Because until you make that choice that that's what it's going to be, that that's what you want to do, you don't want to be what you are or who you are, you don't want your life the way that it is, until you make that choice, then it's not going to happen. No matter what happens, even if the dam breaks open, you'll constantly fight that. And the more you fight that, the more hectic your life gets because you need to just accept that this change is going to happen. I'm going to go back to the river analogy. If you watch a river and it's been on the same path for years and years and years, and sometimes it could be hundreds of years, and then suddenly there'll be a sudden rush of water or a sudden flood, and suddenly that river is coming over its edges, or it's making a new path to a better place. It's starting to carve out new things in the land. It's starting to flood areas that we aren't expecting. Our lives are like that river. Sometimes we can flow the same way for hundreds of years, not that we live that long, but we can flow the same way for a very, very, very long time. And then suddenly a flood happens and we get all this water rushing, and suddenly we're hectic and the schedule gets busy and things change, and you have to carve out a new life or a new path in life. And it's not as bad as you think. I mean, I'm disabled. I've talked about it before. And when I first became disabled, it was really hard to deal with. And it was hard for me to figure out who I was with the disability because I already knew who I was without it. But now I was this whole new person. And who is this new person? And how do I exist with this pain? Because it's constant every day. Like right now, I have a headache and my shoulders and my neck hurt really bad. But I took the time to realize that my river was flooding and that it was going to carve out a new path. So I let it flow for a while and I tried to see where it was going. And then I tried to follow it. And then I tried to adapt to it. And I tried to find the beauty in the new area that it was cutting out for me. And now I finished college, and I have my master's degrees and I have the ability to get a job, I'm suddenly in this new life. However, I've learned to adapt to my pain. I took the time to figure out who I was with the pain. And pain doesn't rule my life. It's just a part of me now. And so I grew and I changed and I adapted to be able to deal with that in my life so that I could find this new path and so that I could find the ground I needed to cover and where I needed to go with this river of my life. And life is not about everything that you go through. That's just the scenery. Everything you go through is the scenery. And it's about loving the scenery. It's about finding the beauty in even the barren land. It's about finding those positives in your life and creating a new you all the time. It's about adapting to the floods. It's about adapting to the new course of the river. That's what life is about. And when we take the time to do that, that is how we grow and mature. And that is how we become more of a person. And we can, because I've survived so much in my life, now almost anything can hit me in the face. And I just smile and keep going because I know it's just a new path. It's just more beauty. It's just more abundance in my life. And that means I've lived, because that's what life is, filling your life with this abundance and realizing the beauty and enjoying it and loving who you are and the life that you're in. It's about loving you and the life around you. It's about finding that. If we're sitting here focusing on all the negative things that are happening in our life and we're not doing anything to change it, then we're never going to get past that dam. We will constantly be stuck. That river will try to flow and it's going to try and burst over those edges and it's going to try to knock that dam down, but it's just like slamming your head into it. We need to grow. We need to adapt. And we need to realize that sometimes when things are new, that doesn't make it bad. It's just another journey. It's just more beauty and it's just more abundance in your life. And it's more living. So that's what I wish for you this week. That you would understand the growth and maturity that comes from the floods in our life. And the growth and maturity that comes from learning to adapt and live and to see the abundant blessings that you have with all of the journeys that you've taken and all of the paths you carved out with your river. In Jesus' name, thank you for listening. And I'd really love to hear what your paths have done for you and what you've struggled through in your life. I'm planning on starting different types of videos. And I'd really love to hear from you guys and to know what you'd like to talk about. So thank you for listening. And as always, believe and make it so.